So I'm sure all of you guys have seen an advertisement, whether that's here on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, trying to sell you some type of expensive course. So in today's video, I want to break down what's really going on behind the scenes and clarify everything you need to know about expensive online courses so you can see which ones are good and which ones are really scams. Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. If you're new here, my name is Greg and I like to talk about online entrepreneurship and share the resources that I wish I had along my journey. So if you're interested in making money online, feel free to look around the channel and consider subscribing. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the popular trend of selling expensive online courses, and I'm going to share with you guys everything that I think you should know about these courses so you can make educated decisions for yourself. So the very first thing that I want to clarify in this video is that not all of these courses are bad. Sometimes the good courses and the bad courses use the same process to try to sell the courses, but it's hard to determine which ones are good and which ones are bad. So let's start off with the bad courses. The common things you're going to see with bad courses are they always overpromise, they're always going to underdeliver, they're expensive courses, and there is nearly no support. If you just take that one thing away from this entire video, you will already be ahead of the game. If you're considering a course and they're promising you the world and it doesn't sound realistic, they already have a red flag on the first one. They're over-promising to you. Now, if you just dig a little bit deeper and you see what past students are saying about the course, if they say that the information is basic and you can find it online for free, this often happens in expensive courses, then you know that that's the second red flag. The course under-delivers. And then the next thing is expensive price tags. So just keep an eye out if you see that it's an expensive course. Yes, sometimes the really good courses also are expensive, and we'll talk about that in a bit here, but just keep an eye out. If it's an unreasonable amount of money for what you're going to get, that's another big red flag. Also take a look at what their return policy is and what people are saying about the return policy. A lot of the times people will say there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, which is what you really want. But if you dig a little bit deeper, see if people are actually using the 30-day money-back guarantee and getting their money back. A lot of the times with some of these courses, people will request their refund within 30 days, but not get a response until after the 30 days. And then the course seller tries to say that it's been over 30 days and they can no longer get a refund. And then the last thing to really look for is ongoing support. So a lot of the times with these expensive courses, you sign up, you enroll, and then when you have a question, you ask it, but you don't get a response. If you're going to be paying top dollar for a course, you want to make sure that the instructor or someone is going to be there to answer your questions along the way. So the bad rap really comes from people seeing a flashy advertisement, going through the funnel, and signing up for the course, and then there's really basic information, they can't get their money back, there's no support, and it's just an overall terrible experience. Now, what about the other side? Speaking from experience, there are some amazing online courses, and if creators are making these courses for the right reasons, you can learn so much as a student, and this is often the best way to learn these things. The top 3 traits of a really good online course is 1, that it's fairly priced and they're not asking an astronomical amount for the course. Number 2, that it's going to over-deliver and give you more value than what you paid for the course. And then number 3, that there is great ongoing support. When you think about the alternatives to online courses, you can really start to see the benefit to a good online course. If you're not learning from an online course, then your other resources are free information here on YouTube, free information on Google, but the big problem with this is a lot of the times this is either outdated or you don't know if it's actually factual. The hands down biggest problem with all the free information online is oftentimes its intention is to try to lead you into buying something. So because of this, the information is not always factual. Now, if you look at your other 2 main alternatives to learn information, you have books, which are typically going to be outdated by the time it is printed and published. That information may not be relevant anymore. And then 2, you have traditional education like going to college. And the 2 issues that can really arise from this is 1, that it's going to be very expensive, and 2, that you're going to learn general information, not specifically what you need. So with all of those alternatives considered, this is where online courses really shine. Online courses can be made by anyone, and that's where a lot of these scam artists come into it. There's always going to be people selling snake oil in any industry, and it's just very easy for them to do it in the online course industry. But if you look at the really positive opportunity here, as technology is starting to advance, people are able to create online courses easier. So a lot of really successful entrepreneurs and business owners and people who have done the thing that you want to learn are starting to create online courses. These are the people you want to learn from because their information is current, it's worked for them, it's step by step, and this is digital content. The big plus to that is that if you were to have a one-on-one consulting call with them or meet them in person, the amount that you would have to pay for that would be so astronomical because this person's time is worth so much. However, if they put everything that they would tell you in that consulting call into an online course, they can sell it for a fraction of the price because of scale. these are the online courses that you want to find, and these are the ones that can be extremely helpful. So now let's go behind the scenes and break down how this is typically done, so when you see these advertisements on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you know what's going on. So the main way that these courses are typically sold starts with an advertisement. That's going to be either on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, and what these advertisements are meant to do is to emotionally get you attached and sell you an idea of how you can change your life. And all you have to do is click on the link and put in your email address. And what that's going to do is reserve your seat in an upcoming webinar. Now, I have nothing against webinars, it's just when they're used improperly. So let's move on to the next step. Once you put in your email address, it's going to say that the webinar is starting in 5 minutes or whatever it is. Just know that these webinars are not often live, they are pre-recorded. And again, I have nothing wrong with this, it's just when they're used improperly. So moving on to the next step of the process, you're going to sit through this webinar that's going to be between 30 minutes and 90 minutes. And when used properly, you can learn a ton of information from this webinar. When used improperly, this is going to be a carefully scripted sales pitch. Just be aware of which one you're in. If you're getting a ton of information from it, this may be for a good course. If you're only getting a little bit of practical, valuable information out of this webinar, and the overall topic of the webinar is talking about emotions or trying to get you attached or how you can change your life, just know that they are trying to sell you the course. And that's where I would really look for the red flag. The course sellers that are not in it for the right reasons, they revise these webinars 10, 20, 30 times to see what's going to convert the absolute best. And it's all based on human buying nature. So it's not actually what you need to learn and how much value you're going to get. It's how to close the sale with you as you're sitting through that webinar. So I really want you guys to be aware of what type of webinar you're in. If you're getting a ton of really good information, or if they're trying to sell you something. And then the last two parts of the process here are at the end of the webinar, both for good courses and for bad courses. They're going to give you some kind of special offer. This may be 25% off, and it's only valid for 2 hours after the webinar. Yes, that's for good courses and for bad courses. I don't have a problem with that. It's what comes after this that I do have the problem with. Now, whether you sign up for the course then or you don't, there's going to be an email follow-up sequence. This is almost for every course that's being sold online, and this is called the sales funnel part of the process. What this is going to be is automated emails that you're going to get after the fact. If you did buy the course, you will get a different sequence than if you don't buy the course. Now, I want to be very clear on this part as well. For the people who are in it for the right reasons and they're selling you really good courses, they are going to be emailing you really helpful resources. However, on the other side of the spectrum, you have the people selling the bad courses, and the content in their email automated funnels is going to be very different. What their main purpose here is to make more money off of you. So they're going to be sending you every affiliate offer under the moon. They're going to be selling you high ticket items. They're going to be selling you everything. And a lot of the times, the content that is in those emails is not helpful. It's not what you really need. It's another scammy or spammy product. But if you go buy it, they're going to get another commission. Now, linking to affiliate products in the email follow-up is not a big problem. The problem comes in what type of product they are linking to. The good course creators, they may link to an affiliate product, but trust me when I say that's going to be a helpful resource for you. The bad course creators are going to link to affiliate products that have the biggest payouts. So that's the process that you're going to go through if someone's trying to sell you a course, whether that's a good course or a bad course. Those are kind of the differences so you know what to look for. So now for my absolute favorite part of this video, and that is the saying, if you can't do it, teach it. We can't go on throughout this video without touching on this. So first things first, yes, this statement can be very true. However, there's a big catch. It's only in the last couple of years that we've been able to create an online course, and this brings the variable of scale into the equation. So to give you a perfect example of this, you may have an entrepreneur who's running a social media marketing agency and making $200,000 per year. Now that's a very comfortable income, but if he wants to increase it, he's going to have to bring in more resources, maybe more employees, maybe more account managers. However, if we bring teaching into the equation, it gets interesting. This same person is currently doing $200,000 per year in a social media marketing agency, so they know how to do it. They know what works, they know what doesn't work, what to do, what to avoid, step by step, how to do it, what you need to do first, every step along the way. However, in previous years, if this business owner wanted to teach other people how to do exactly what they're currently doing, they would have to do it in person because they didn't have the ability of creating an online course. So by doing it in person, it's limited, you can only reach so many people at a time, and it's active income. Every time you want to teach new people, you have to go spiel the exact same thing that you did for the last class. However, if we bring in online courses, it changes the equation entirely. If this business owner puts all of that same information into one online course, they can sell it over and over again, and they don't have to actively teach it each time. Now, to put this in perspective, for the example of social media marketing agency, there are over 22 million people in the world interested in learning how to do this. If this business owner is teaching in person, they're only going to be able to reach a tiny little percentage of those people. However, if they have a digital course that covers the same content that can be sold anywhere in the world, they can now reach a lot more of those people. And that is where scale comes into the equation. Now they can mentor people virtually through an online course that's pre-recorded, and all they have to do is be there for ongoing support. So often the next question that people ask is, if they know how to do it, why would they tell other people what they're doing? Wouldn't that be more competition and they're going to lose business? Well, the short answer is the world is so big, and there are so many different businesses and so many clients and so much business to be had. For this example of social media marketing agencies, the typical client is a business, and there are almost 200 million businesses in the world. There is no shortage of clients here. So an experienced business owner knows that showing other people how to do what they're doing is not going to affect their current business. So the moral of the story is these good courses are taught by business owners who are currently doing it or have done it in the past, because they can teach you current information that really works and all the real information that you want to learn. So I've got to make sure to put this in the video here. If you are a course creator and you're watching this video, if you're selling good courses and you're teaching people good, valuable information and charging a fair amount, I 100% support you. If you are someone who is selling an expensive course and you know the course under delivers, yet you continue to sell it and you continue to put more advertising behind it, it's a shame what you're doing, and I really urge you to stop and consider putting out a really beneficial product. So with that said, my advice for you guys is to investigate these courses, really look at the offers, be aware of what part of the process you're in for selling and what's going on in that process. If you guys have any questions about courses that you're considering, feel free to even leave them in a comment and I can do my fair share of investigating. I may have even seen the course before, but let me know if you guys need any help. I hope this video has been valuable to you guys and you've been able to take something away from it. If you have any questions at all about anything, please let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate the thumbs up. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.